So I just got accepted into 1 out of 16 colleges. And the two big questions are which colleges you should apply to and how many. First, let's answer where you should apply to. You need to analyze your application and decide if you are a well-rounded applicant or a spike applicant. I did a video on that. But if you are a spike applicant, apply for top 10 colleges, you have a pretty good shot of getting it. But if you're well-rounded, probably Northwestern's your only bet because the top 10 colleges, Ivies, etc., maybe even top 15, they all want spike applicants who are specialized in one thing. So if you're doing sports, music, I don't know, a marching band, and then you're doing lab, like that's a well-balanced student. That is not a spike student. Someone might ask, how do I find colleges to apply to though? So there's this website called US News. You should go to it, and it has the rankings of every single college. And the reason why you need these rankings is because within those rankings, they have individual rankings for each subject. And why is this important? Well, this is important because if you know the individual rankings for each subject, then you know which schools that you have a better chance of getting into. You see, there's less competition if the school is lower ranked in that particular area. It should make sense. So if your goal is to try to get into a high-ranking school, I suggest you look for a low-ranking subject and try to aim to get in with that. However, if your goal is just to get into any college, then I would suggest just scrolling down the list. And US News itself, like, you have the ability to select preferences, but that is the next question. People ask, what about my preferences? You know, what if I don't like the weather, etc.? Number one, we're all humans, so we adapt easily, we change easily because we're human. Number two, though, when people ask this question, I say colleges choose you. You don't choose colleges. It's just how it is. From personal experience, I didn't apply to Rice or Vanderbilt because I didn't like the weather, right? Rice is in Texas. I'm in Texas. Rice is in Texas. It's like hot, it's humid. And then like Vanderbilt's in the middle of nowhere. Sorry, Vanderbilt. I'm not trying to offend you, but it's in the middle of nowhere. I want to be near the coast. You know, I want to see the sea because I've never seen the sea in my whole life. I live in a desert with leprosy armadillos. I don't see the sea. But I got lucky and got into Northwestern. If I didn't get into Northwestern, I would have regretted not applying to Rice or Vanderbilt. That's just kind of how it is. So I would suggest you guys to like put aside your differences, put aside your opinion, and apply to those schools that you think you have a chance of getting in or you want to get in that are not within like the top 10 or top 15. This is for the general population of your chances of getting into a school. It will be higher if it's not in the top 15. That's by ratio and by logic. That is just how it is. Of course, you can still apply to those schools, but you should focus on the other schools that you can get in first, that you won't regret going to before applying to those schools that you probably will not get in. And yes, ranking does not officially matter. People just say, you know, ranking doesn't matter. Ranking does matter, but people say ranking doesn't matter. And if ranking doesn't matter, I would not have applied to Northwestern because Northwestern was number 9. I had never heard of Northwestern until I started applying for colleges. They've never sent a mailing list or like an email to me. Never. I've never gotten anything from them. I still haven't gotten my acceptance like physical paper package letter. So now let's answer the question of how many schools you should apply to. The factor that you need to consider here is the time it takes to do essays. You know, I started my Common App essay, you know, the brainstorming in March. Many people don't do that. You don't have to do that. You just need to start writing in June, July, because the prompts are all out. It's the same every single year. It's basically the same every single year. But essentially that 650 word essay is not the exclusive essay that you need to write for colleges. They have supplementals that you need to write. Northwestern happened to have the least amount of supplementals. It just needed the why us essay, which means why should you want to choose our college? Why do you want to go to our college? Why should we choose you? You know, all of that. I think the UC schools, you can apply to all of them with just one application. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the thing. The only thing that you need to do is pay the money. But if some of you guys wanted to be smart Alex and say that, oh, I can just copy paste essays, don't do that, because I tried it, it didn't work. I didn't try it in the applications that I sent, but I tried it in my essay drafts. And when I was proofreading it, I could tell that didn't answer the prompt. However, there's a very easy fix for this that no one really talks about. I don't know why no one talks about this, but just rewrite the essay, paraphrase your own essay as an essay, and then like add a little bit more detail, and it just looks perfectly fine. That's just what I did. There is a natural progression of the improvement of your essays, so there's going to be that factor as well, and that means that as time progresses, the better your essays will get. For example, the why us essays, I used to have horrible stuff on the why us essays. I'll do a read in the future. But after spending lots and lots of hours on the why us essays, I had a formula on how to write those. And I basically rewrote all of the 16 colleges that had why us essays. I just rewrote all of it, and I was so much more satisfied with it. So expect to rewrite a lot of your essays. So getting on to the actual answer of how many schools you should apply to, I have to say the minimum 15. The minimum is 15. Don't go over 20 is also my opinion, but that's up to you. I've seen someone who applied to 50 colleges. I'm not sure how they're still alive. But you don't need that many safeties. Like, you can apply to the top 50 colleges if you want. But I can tell you that a lot of you who are currently watching this video, who have interest in clicking this video, probably do not have to do that. Like, I would say most of you, like 80 to 90% of you, can probably fall within the top 50 school range. Like, you don't have to apply to all of them. I would even say probably top 45, 40, 30, around that range. Like, that's like the bare minimum, in my opinion, of you guys. I have high expectations of you. But times are changing. Don't listen to anyone who tells you, oh, just apply to the 5 schools that you like the best. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. They are lying. Do not do that. You're gonna get rejected from all 5 colleges and have nowhere to go to but your safety. And I'm sure that most people would like to go to a college other than their safety, just because that's why they choose that school as their safety. The only reason why you shouldn't apply to 15 schools is if you're up at 2 a.m. and you physically have to pull back your eyelid because you can't keep them open. If that happens, then you can tell me you can't apply to 15 schools. The bare minimum is 15 schools. Just trust me on this. Bare minimum 15 schools. Don't go less. Look. I applied to 16 schools. I got into 1. I just want to let that sink in for you. Yes, all the schools that I applied to were like big top 15 schools, but even so, I got into 1 out of 16 schools. Just keep that in mind. Like, I'm just an average person with average stats. Keep that in mind. Dream schools will drag you down in your research. Every school that you apply to, you need to have the mentality that that is your dream school. That should be your mentality for every single college. Otherwise, you're going to have a disadvantage, especially when writing why us essays and why you should choose a school, why the school should choose you. I would say the last consideration in regards to how many schools you should apply to is your finances. Like, if you don't have enough finances, I understand. But I also want to tell you that this is not a lottery. This is an investment. There's a difference. The lottery it's just by luck. It's just by chance. There's just pure chance. There's no strategy to it. This is not that. This is an investment. The more schools you apply to is just increasing your chances of getting to a school that's better than your safety. And yes, of course, undergraduate schools don't matter that much. In the long run, it does not matter that much. Maybe in the first year of graduation it does. But that's the difference. The better college you get into, the faster you can progress in work and in the work hierarchy, if that's something that you want to do. And if you think that getting into a college better than your safety is worth spending money, then I suggest you apply to 15 schools. Okay, that would be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love all of you. Please don't subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.